The car generating chatter all over the world is in India.
Rock the booth.
The BYD Seal is an all-electric wonder that has a lot going for it. This one becomes a tad extra special for me because I was the only journalist from India to have already gotten my hands on it a while back. A lot has changed since I first drove the BYD Seal. Well, for me personally, maybe a little bit extra. The biggest change? The fact that this car is now on sale here in India. It's available in our market. The other thing that's changed, of course, for me, like I said, is that car was white. This one's like a dark blue, they call it gray. The weather, it was freezing cold and snowy conditions. Now it's blazing hot, very much like we expect here in our market. And the fact that this is also a car that was one of the runners up at the World Car Awards. It didn't win, but the fact that it was the top 3 speaks volumes about how big a model this is for the company and for the electric vehicle market as a whole. I've already gone over the Seal's features in my exclusive review on our channel, so let's skip a recap. You can always watch that too. Instead, let me tell you what impresses me and what doesn't quite hit the mark. The BYD Seal earns a big thumbs up for its stylish design, which, let's face it, looks kinda like the Hyundai Ioniq 6 and also the Porsche Taycan, depending on the angle you see it from. Maybe even the Tesla Model 3. BYD design chief Wolfgang Egger knew that he had to take on all those cars in a way, globally, and so achieving strong aerodynamics was key. Unlike those cars, here the result is all-round rather pretty. So, sharp front end highlighted by those DRLs and that cool lighting element in the bumper. Flowing roofline, flush door handles, very stylish alloys, and as I have said before, the dot matrix tail lights, well, that's the coolest design detail on this one. The car comes across as well built and premium. Spending time inside the BYD Seal's cabin is something that you are going to like because there's lots of bits in the car that have been done really nicely. It comes across as very high-end. Look at the seats. It's got this quilting in it. It makes it comfortable, and the seats themselves are designed quite comfortably too. You can adjust them through this screen. A lot of it happens through this screen. We'll talk about that in a second. The rear seats are also comfortable. I'll show you those in a second. But the styling on the dash is again like nothing you've really seen on any other car. It's got this almost organic sort of a quality in terms of its design, and the materials, the colors, very nicely done. It's all got different textures and layers, but they all work together. A little bit of Alcantara here as well, which is nice and high-end. 2 wireless chargers, so that's why I had my phone on me. There we go. Really nice animation to that as well, and that's where we come to the screen. Animations, the quality of the graphics, all of it is crisp. It's really nicely done, good resolution. Same applies to the instrument cluster screen as well. It's all quite intuitively done also. That's something that I do like. It does have the party trick of making that screen go from vertical to horizontal. This you do know. And the Atto 3 had it. Of course, those of you who saw my previous reviews saw that as well. Don't forget though, Android Auto or CarPlay, well then the screen stays horizontal, and so when you're driving, a little bit of your hand kind of blocks out one corner of the screen, so that's not great. I actually prefer to keep it in vertical mode. But it is the functionality of it that I think is also something that many people will like. There may be too much going on that screen. Once you get used to it though, it's not so bad. The good part is that unlike so many other EVs, it's not like all the vehicle functions are also on the screen. As you're driving, you can quickly access the drive mode through a little rotary dial here. You don't even have to take your eyes off the road. You get the little display in the instruments and you can change the drive mode quite easily. That's something also that I do like. And then you've got the little BMW inspired gear shifter here, which has that crystal finish. But you know what? It's finished well. The window and mirror controls on the driver's side door are angled towards the driver. Nice touch. There's space for stuff under the central console and lots of charging outlets for your gadgets. get here in the back, and the first thing that grabs you, the sense of space. It's really nice and comfortable and roomy. Good amount of headroom, great amount of feeling of space, and of course actual space too. Look at that flat floor. Legroom is great. Under thigh support is not bad. The seat angle, very nice, very comfortable, cushiony kind of seat. Having said all of that, I don't think this is really a chauffeur-driven car. In India, I know that it probably will end up being one. But you know what? In my head, I'm biased. For me, no car outside of, say, a Phantom or an S-Class is really a chauffeur-driven car. But having said that, because the buyers in this segment will like to maybe sit at the back, they won't be unhappy. If I want to nitpick a little bit, there could have been a little bit of a sun blind here, but you know what? It's still really comfortable. The sunroof, again, the fact that it's full glass and it doesn't have a blind doesn't really bother you because, you know, it's not really, there's no glare coming through, and it goes all the way, extends over your head. That's kind of different. Also adds to the sense of roominess. You can put that back up if you don't want to use it, but you know what? It's really comfortable. So I'm going to keep it down, but who am I kidding? I'm not going to be sitting back here. I'm going to be up there driving. Okay, so my previous drive on the near perfect roads of Switzerland. So, how does the Seal do in the Haryana hinterland?
Going over speed breakers, going into potholes, something you don't really feel much in this car. That's again a good thing because, you know, that hard sort of feel that you get typically with a lot of battery cars because they got all the weight at the bottom, that's something that's been worked out well with this suspension tuning. So on the whole, it's pleasurable, it's sporty, it's fun, and it's comfortable.
This being the all-wheel drive version, it has 2 electric motors powering all the wheels. That's 523 bhp and 670 Nm of peak torque that you get from the 82.56 kWh battery. What this means is that the Seal can go 0 to 100 in just 3.8 seconds. Now, to put some perspective on that, the Seal is only half a second slower than the Lamborghini Urus Performante and just a whole second behind the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. That's blisteringly quick.
When you start driving the car a little bit more regularly, you start to notice these small things about it. When I first drove it, I've already told you about the performance. It is impressive. It's nice how it corners as well. The dynamics, very smartly done. It sort of picks up all the relevant things that drivers are going to appreciate. Good amount of ride quality with the comfort, the suspension, a nice tight steering feel without being too hard, and of course it hugs corners quite beautifully, like this one.
All of this is cleverly done by BYD. Despite weighing well over 2 tons, the Seal's cell-to-body tech has helped maintain brilliant dynamics. Even defying physics, the Seal stays composed thanks to its torque adaptation control or torque vectoring system.
One thing I do want to mention, now I said that this tinting on the glass roof is good enough, but right now I have the sun right overhead. It's shining right onto my face. It's not bothering me because it's not like there's a very strong glare, but I'm starting to feel the heat of it on my forehead. So maybe a smart way to avoid that, you don't need to have a full sun blind covering up the whole roof. This visor, the sun visor, the way it comes down, you could have also just had it flipping back upwards again, just to block out that little bit of glare or that little bit of heat, which can get a little uncomfortable on long drives.
The Seal comes loaded with safety tech and features. ADAS, 3-point seat belts, ISOFIX anchorages on all 5 seats. That is great. And then there's this other thing.
The other thing I really like is that when it comes to air quality, cleaning out the air inside the cabin. Say you put your window down and you get a burst of smoke from traffic or whatever. You want to quickly get rid of that. Well, there's a quick option to clean out the cabin air. That's a nice thing to have as well. Again, very relevant. In India, the Seal has been launched with 3 variants. The rear-wheel drive Dynamic, that has 201 bhp, 310 Nm, with 510 kilometers of range, priced at a rather attractive 41 lakh rupees. The premium trim, again rear-wheel driven but with the larger battery, has 308 bhp, 360 Nm, 650 kilometers of range, with a 45 lakh 55,000 rupee price tag. And this one, the one I've got, the top of the line Performance, at 53 lakh rupees. The rivals in India are varied, but these are cars it must take on. Both the Koreans might seem underpowered by comparison, but both are absolute lookers. The BMW costs a lot more but can outperform the Seal in many ways. So on the whole then, the BYD does seal the deal quite well. Do you agree? Tell me in the comments below.